How long does it take when you move to New Zealand from another country till you truly feel like nothing will ever shock you again? You know everything there is to know about New Zealand. That's what we thought. But this week, we discovered 3 things that we were like, seriously? And on the back of the toilet door, and they said, do not panic. We are working to... In this week's episode, we're going to share with you some typical New Zealand ways that blew us away and made us realise we're still learning about living in New Zealand.
It's a Drama, coming to you from Taranaki, New Zealand.
Hello.
Daddy, I love him!
Mother thanks you.
Right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And today we are back with you to share some typical New Zealand ways. We've got 3 brilliant things that we've discovered about New Zealand that just showed up in our lives this week that we thought we have got to share that with you. And one not so typical New Zealand way, it was something that doesn't often happen to us. Someone was a little bit cruel, a little bit, got in there under our skin. And we thought we'd share that with you because why not? You've got to share the good with the bad.
Yep.
So, yes, thank you so much for joining us this week. We are Liz and Brian, husband and wife. We are British. We emigrated to New Zealand 13 years ago, and we like to just sit and share stories about living in New Zealand, travelling the world, just being us, being you, just chatting to you about life. And yeah, so if you are here for the first time, welcome and thank you.
Yeah, we are Kiwi citizens though.
Yeah, no, yeah, but you've got to say, it's going to be a bit weird, isn't it, if they think, oh yeah, there's 2 Kiwis, why have they got an English accent?
Yeah.
We're not quite sure where we've got the English accent.
It was
just
funny
never
though,
went away.
When I came to New Zealand, they said, oh, you just sound like us.
You have got a New Zealand accent.
Thanks.
Lots of people have said that. No, lots of people have said that on the show, that you are sounding more Kiwi, but...
Yeah, a Naki twang, as someone once told me.
So how have you been? We have missed you. We love getting this camera out and just sitting and going, oh, let's tell them about that. So let's just dive straight. Oh, first of all, maybe you should know a little something. If Brian's a little bit like this, that's because you've hurt your back, haven't you, Brian?
Oh, yeah. I slipped a disc and it's just always been sort of a problem. Actually doing the Kiwi thing.
What did you do?
I was doing throwing logs up into a trailer from low down on a bank, and I was trying to get a bit more oomph.
Is that how you did it?
Yeah, and it was a twist and a throw up. Yeah.
So actually, we're lucky to be doing this because literally he's walking like, oh, I can't walk, and he's just really so. It's nice just to be sitting down and just chatting. Right, let's just jump in. Yep. Typical New Zealand. Well, let me tell you a story about it. First of all, you need to know a story about balsamic vinegar and our history with balsamic vinegar.
Goes back quite a way, doesn't it?
It does,
really?
Brian. Me and you, balsamic vinegar, we're like that, aren't we?
A bit before the times.
What do you mean?
As in, you're talking 20 years ago, aren't you?
Well, more than that, isn't it?
I know balsamic's been around for a long time, but it's
it's not it's trendy now, isn't it?
It became popular about 5-6 years ago, didn't it?
And what you're saying is we were there before the trend.
Yeah.
We were there killing it, just eating that balsamic. Yeah. Anyway.
Trying something different.
Yeah. Are you all right, Bri?
Yeah.
Okay, darling.
Okay.
Right, so we lived in Bath in England. And we moved there, like I say, 13 or 14 years ago. But we used to live in Bath. And not far from Bath is this beautiful little town called Wells.
It's actually a city.
Is it a city?
It's one of the smaller cities in England. Yeah, because it's a cathedral city, but it's tiny. As in as cities go. Like it feels like more like a town, but it has got a big cathedral in the middle.
And this story does lead to New Zealand, something about New Zealand, but I just need to give you the backstory. Yeah, I know how you like it. So we used to go to this little market in Wells every Saturday. Sometimes we would always take the kids. I was going to say sometimes we'd take the kids.
Just leave them home. They're only about,
sometimes we just leave them in the car.
3 or 4 at the time.
So we'd go.
Oh, where are they? They're in the car. We left them in the car.
We'd go to this market and, just wander around and just, I love markets. I love it so much. Anyway, we see this stall and this guy selling, was it Australian olive oil?
No, it was
English?
It was whatever was in season. Because, apparently olive oil is only good for the first 3 months. as in the good stuff, when it's just been pressed. And it was actually a New Zealand olive oil that he was,
Yes,
he was
that's what
pouring
I'm
out
saying.
for us.
I know it had something to do with New Zealand because we didn't know about New Zealand then. We were going to move to Canada, which I'm going to tell you about later in the show. But we didn't know about New Zealand so much then. My sister was always talking. Anyway, that's just going off topic. Anyway, guess what? But he sold on this stall olive oil and balsamic vinegar.
Yeah.
And we'd never really had nice olive oil or balsamic vinegar. And you know how they have little dishes where you can go and like it's really unhygienic and you just double dip your bread in and just eat it.
Yeah, take a bite, dip it in for some more. Yeah.
Anyway, he had these little pots of olive oil and balsamic vinegar. And there was this, we got talking to him and he was like, you know, New Zealand is just, they do the best olive oil and, you know, all this about New Zealand. And I think that probably got us interested in New Zealand, just talking about that olive oil. But anyway, he had this balsamic vinegar and it was like, if you imagined thick car oil, you know, the texture of thick when you pour car oil, it was so thick.
It was actually called black gold. That's what he used to call it. Yeah. It's you can actually still get it online if you search for black gold balsamic vinegar. Yeah.
And guess how, right, okay, so first of all, he goes, just taste this. He said, if you like balsamic vinegar, he said, just taste this. So we dipped our bread in, and I am not kidding you, it was just like, oh my God, it was like liquid gold.
It was liquid gold. Pure gold.
That's what it was like.
Great name.
No, it was. You know when you taste something and you're like, oh, that is like something I have never tasted before. And we just couldn't get enough of it, could we, Brian? We just kept going, sending the kids back. Go and ask that man if you can dip your bread in the vinegar and then bring it back. Anyway, so we ended up splashing out and buying a bottle of this liquid gold. And guess how much it was? Can you remember how much it was? I
can, because it was a 500ml bottle, so half a litre.
Yeah.
And
tell them how much it was, Brian.
It was about £50, which is about 100, probably more than that. It was probably more like $150 back then, because it was 3-to-1, wasn't it?
$150 bottle of balsamic vinegar. That's how much we liked it. And we were like, oh, should we? And we're like, why not? We never do anything. We never go out. We never do it. You know, we don't smoke.
No, we don't go to restaurants and stuff, do we?
It's just, it's just like, why should we treat ourselves?
Yeah.
So we bought this bottle of gold, liquid gold. And when anyone ever came, like, I remember, Brian, when your dad came, we were like, oh, just taste this. Just a little bit, mine, not too much. It's for us. You know, it's very expensive.
Yeah, he loved it, didn't he?
Loved
got
it,
him into it as well, yeah.
So that's how much we love balsamic vinegar. And then when we moved to New Zealand, we were on a really tight budget. I wasn't working. Brian was doing his plumbing job. He was on minimum wage.
$24 an hour. Yeah.
So everything, the belt was pulled in tight.
Yep.
Let's just say that. And we never forgot about that beautiful bottle of vinegar that we bought. And when we got to New Zealand, we were like, we love balsamic vinegar, so we've got to find it. So I think we did order some online, didn't we? And
you can get it from some of the, what they call delicatessens. There's one in town called Vetro, isn't there? And there used to be one up in Hamilton. For some reason, we used to go to Hamilton quite a bit. I can't remember what it's called. Something like the Marketplace or something, wasn't it?
But we could never find it, Brian. We could never find
never the same one
that would match this balsamic, this liquid gold. And then one day we were down in Foursquare and we wanted some balsamic vinegar. I can't remember what we were eating. We had people around and we were just going to serve, you know how you serve a little pot of olive oil and that, I think it's called dukkha, where it's like not Egyptian, what's the word?
It's Turkish, isn't it? Yeah, it's like, it's got lots of cumin in it.
Yeah, and like seeds, and it's really delicious. If you haven't tried it, just look for some. And you dip when we could eat bread, you dip your bread in the olive oil, dip it in the vinegar, and then dip it. Anyway, it was lovely. Yeah. And we didn't have any balsamic. So we went down to Foursquare, and there on the shelf was, all they had was a bottle of Pam's.
Pam's Finest, actually.
Pam's Finest.
Yeah, got to remember Finest, because just regular Pam's isn't the one.
Yeah.
Because that's a bit watery and it's a bit
it's
wishy.
not the regular one. It's not the one in the tall bottle. It used to be in a little fat bottle. It's sort of like, we should have brought the bottle because we kept it for our olive oil, didn't we?
Yeah, aged balsamic vinegar. That's the difference, because you've just got regular balsamic vinegar, which is just like water and just normal vinegar, isn't it? But
it was, how much was it? $3.99?
No, I think it was about $7.99 or something like that for a little bottle.
It was definitely under $8, Brian.
Yeah, well, there it was then, wasn't it?
It was definitely under $8.
Yeah.
Anyway, So we buy this balsamic vinegar and we're like, oh, Pam's. This is when we first moved here. We were like, oh, we don't know. Okay, it's Finest. If it says Finest, it must be good. It must be all right.
Well, the Pam's Finest range. I have to put my.
We didn't know this.
No, you didn't, because we didn't even know what Pam's was.
No.
I mean, what is this stuff?
And that's what I'm saying. And we'll get to that in a minute, Brian.
All right.
So we bring the Pam's Finest out at the table and we're like, okay, let's just try this. And I'm not joking. It was lovely, wasn't it?
It was good stuff.
It was really, really
Not
nice.
quite as good as the old black gold, but
No.
it was, as the compromise goes, and affordable. It
Yeah.
was just like, for a bottle of vinegar. A bottle of vinegar lasts you a couple of weeks, doesn't it? Maybe a month. I don't know.
Well, put it this way. It was good enough for us to say to the kids, don't you have that one. That's not for you. That's just for us. You have the cheaper stuff. You have the red
you have
wine
the
vinegar.
$3.99 stuff.
Yeah. And this one, if it says Finest, it's just for us.
Yeah.
It was really nice. It was really nice vinegar. And so I wanted to tell you the story about the £50 bottle, just so you know that we know our vinegar, you know?
Yep.
We're not,
Vinegar's good
we
for
know
you.
what we're talking about. Anyway, come COVID times, no more Pam's vinegar on the shelf, is there?
Well,
Right, Pam's
it
Finest.
just fell away.
Yeah.
And like you could see the odd bottle every now and then, and still the space on the shelf.
Yeah.
Nothing on it.
Teasing us.
It's like, it will be back one day.
Yeah.
But no, never came back.
And this happened. God, we're sad, aren't we? We're really sad. No wonder we get trolley letters. Right,
Yeah.
okay, anyways.
Trolley letters.
Anyway, so going back to that, never came back after COVID. And I kid you not, right? Everywhere we went in New Zealand, Wellington, Auckland, we went down the Coromandel, we went down the South Island, the first thing we were doing was going in the supermarkets, where's Pam's Finest? Any here? Still none here. I think we found one bottle in Thames once, didn't we?
Yeah,
That was
Thames
just
are,
on
yeah.
the shelf.
It's just like,
Anyway.
And it was cheaper than what it was in the Naki as well.
Yeah. So here we are, balsamic free. All we've got now, because we're too tight to pay for good stuff, is the normal Pam's. It's like, I don't like that stuff, Brian. It's rubbish.
It's rubbish. Yeah, it's well, as in vinegar goes.
Yeah.
You can make salad dressing out of it, but it's not like for dipping your bread in.
No,
is it?
it's not a nice
it's
dippy
like,
balsamic.
Yeah.
So there's two things I want to say before I tell you the story of what happened with Brian is Pam's, the conclusion to this story. But I just want you to know that if you are coming to New Zealand or you've just moved to New Zealand and you're looking for some really good stuff, honestly, Pam's Finest, isn't it, Brian?
It is. It's great.
it's
We're not
fine.
sponsored by Pam's, but it is a New Zealand-based company.
Yes.
Like, I
Oh,
think
is it?
Yes, it is.
It's not
yes.
Australian?
No, I think it's based from Auckland. I think.
is it?
I might be wrong, but it's yeah.
Anyway, the other day, right, so we work from home, as you know, or you might not know, but we work from home. We help we support people who are moving to New Zealand. We also have a couple of websites that we sell things on, and we've got make content like this. And anyway, so we work from home together. But we always go off in different rooms because, believe it or not, when you're working with your husband, you don't want to be sitting next to each other. So we always go off in different rooms. And we have a little meet up in the morning and we're like, what are we going to do today? What are we going to get covered? What was our goals for today? And Brian said to me, oh yeah, I'm going to be doing this, this and that today. I'm going to get onto this company and I'm going to make this content. I'm going to build this. And anyway, comes out at lunchtime. And I said, because we meet up in the kitchen at lunchtime to have our lunch. And I said, oh, what did you get? Did you get that thing done that you said you were going to get done, Brian? He said, no, because I've been on the phone to Pam's for the last half an hour. So tell them what you did.
Well, it wasn't on the phone, but it was like I just
you didn't phone them up?
No, I just thought. Where's the Pam's balsamic gone? Like, is it just that they're not bringing it to Taranaki anymore? Like, and is it like somewhere else in the country? So I'll go on Countdown website and have a look around, and it's all on there, but all out of stock. And then it's like out of stock everywhere now. So I think, well, I'll go on the Pam's website. So I go on the Pam's website and have a look, and it's there on the Pam's website.
Right.
But it doesn't say it's in stock or not in stock, but
Yeah.
it says it's there, So next minute, contact her. So I'll send him a little message saying, "Are you expecting this back in stock?" And literally within, I don't know,
2 seconds.
5 minutes of sending the email, bing, it comes back into the inbox. I'm like, oh, Pam's have replied.
Oh.
Yeah. And they just said, I'm sorry, but we're not stocking this anymore. It's not on, it's not to be brought back into New Zealand.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, why didn't you phone them? Was there a phone number?
But what he said after just your interest, I'll put it out to the supplier and see if we can get it back again. Yeah.
How brilliant's that?
So if everybody contacts Pam's and says, "Can you bring Pam's finest vinegar back for Brian?" I'll be really pleased about that. So.
But can you, anyway, what on earth were you doing in there when you're supposed to be doing your work? So you're just sitting there where you're thinking, I'll just have a little countdown instead of doing my work. Lynn's in there
It's more exciting than doing reaching out to companies and saying, would you like to come on board with us and do stuff like that?
That's your trouble, Brian. You see, you're getting down the
priorities list. Yeah. Priorities. And Pam's finest.
But can you believe? And we were laughing about it afterwards. We were like, only in New Zealand, that is just so typical New Zealand that you email a company and they're like, I bet they sat there, I bet they were like this, and the thing.
What am I going to do today?
Someone's emailed us. I don't believe it. Oh, and they're all gathering around. What's it about?
Yeah.
It's about the vinegar.
That vinegar that we got rid of because nobody was buying it, even though they were.
So how many times can you email a company? I actually thought you'd phone them. I
didn't know.
But how many times do you get to email a company? And normally you just get that standard. It's so annoying. It's just like, we will deal with this. Thank you for your request. Blah, 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 blah. But was it a real person that emailed you?
Honestly, it was a real person.
What was his name?
I don't know.
Can't remember.
Pam. It's probably Pam. Pam herself.
Hi,
Bri. I've seen you on the tube.
So, that's funny. But yeah, we just thought we'd share that with you because it was like I say, only in New Zealand are they
does. It just feels like that's the beauty of this country because it's I don't know. It's just sometimes the customer service can be the best in the world and sometimes it's just a little bit weird, isn't it? Because it's like...
No, I'm not going to agree with you. I don't think the customer service is the best in the world, Brian. I've never experienced it. Well, I haven't experienced it, but they're certainly quick. And actually, now I'm going to change my mind because Pam's is the best customer service in the world.
That was great. Yeah. It's just that they get back. And the whole reason of why, not just like, no, this is not on in anymore, but it's like, I'll contact our supplier.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Right, let's move on then. So hope you like that little story. So the second typical New Zealand, and this is just flipping hilarious, honestly. It's just, are you kidding me? Are you seriously kidding me that I'm reading this sign? So this is what happened. Last weekend, because it's been Easter and everything, we have made a real effort to just get out in nature more and just flipping get out of our house that we work in constantly and just explore New Zealand. Actually explore Taranaki, just explore where we live.
We'll get back to what we used to do a lot more, which we were big walkers. We always have been, haven't we? Ever since we sort of met,
Yeah. So we've made it our priority these last few weeks to just go, do you know what, let's just drive out to somewhere really beautiful. And on Saturday, it was Saturday, we went, Tess was home from Wellington.
It was actually Sunday. It was Easter Sunday.
Was it Easter Sunday?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Tess was home from Wellington and she's like, what do you want to do today? And we said, let's just go for a walk. Let's just go on. Because when the kids were small, we used to walk every single weekend with them. That's all we would do. Just do that and eat vinegar and that was it. And we said, let's go to one of our walks. So we went to, what's it called? Lake Rotakere.
Lake Rotakere, yeah. It's a reserve.
Yeah.
A full-blown reserve. It's like a steel fence around the reserve. I don't know how big the reserve is. It takes about 3.5 hours to walk around the perimeter. So it's pretty big and it's really out in the Wop-Wops. It's up and down Dale. It's gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
It's like going to Jurassic Park, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. When the kids were little, because it's a protected, they've got all the pests out. It's a protected, is that what the word is? Protected? It's pest-free.
A pest-free reserve. So it's all native bush, all native birds, and well, not all native birds, but the majority are
There's
native.
There's a big lake, obviously, because it's Lake Rotakere. But you go in and you have to press a button, and these big Jurassic Park gates open. They go, and then this music, da da da, da da da, and
all of a sudden you're in a 4x4 and everything like.
Sam Neill's there, and then you go into like this holding space. And then you wait for those gates to close, and then you press another button, and it lets some more gates open, and then da, 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 da. Anyway, you drive into this reserve. It is like being in Jurassic Park, and it is the most divine place. It's all free that you will ever
open
find.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. How brilliant is that?
It's got freedom camping, so you can freedom camp there for 3 days a month, is it? 3 days, 5 days a month, it was saying, as long as you're self-contained.
Okay. Yep.
It's got these really nice toilets. I think there's even a shower there. And it's a walk, a almost boarded walk, but on some parts it's boarded, and it goes into the wetlands. There's a pontoon there where you can fish off. It's just nowhere, no sign of man around. You just look and it's trees and lakes and bush and birds, and it is just absolutely magnificent. It's just
well done, Doc.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If ever you need, if you're in Taranaki and you need just some refreshed, just loveliness.
Yeah, go listen to the Tuis, that type of thing. Yeah, Tuis and saddlebacks have come back there, haven't they? And, you know, there's fantails flying around you, and little finches and all sorts. It's gorgeous.
It's like paradise. You go in and it's just, like Bryce said, the noise of the birds. Is that because they know there aren't any predators or what?
It's not so much that, it's just all the native bushes there. It's not like deciduous trees, or it's not like this farmland. It was all flattened, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it was all the bush was taken away. So, you know, we did a lot of damage to the ground, but it was like, it's for food, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what we had to do.
But you go in and you just look up to the canopy and you can just hear, just like all this bird song, and just like, it's so deafening. It's just beautiful. Anyway, that isn't the story, but I want you to know that if you are in Taranaki, then go there, because it's just fantastic. And thank you, Doc, because it's all free.
Yeah.
And anyway, they've got these toilet blocks, and we're all marveling. Me, Brian, Sunny, Tess and Finn, her boyfriend, were there, and we're like, oh, this is amazing. Can you believe we live in New Zealand? This is just fantastic. And it's all predator free. And we were just about to set off on our walk. It's an hour and a half walk around the lake. And I said, oh, I'll just nip to the loo before we go. Everyone goes to the loo, like, you know, before we go. So I go into the toilets and I close the toilet. I'll go into the toilet cubicle and close the door. And on the back of the toilet door, there's a picture of a possum. And it said, warning, possum spotted within the reserve. And it said, do not panic. We are working to eradicate this pest. And it was like one possum. They were saying it was like one possum.
The elusive possum.
And this picture of this possum is just sitting here like this, you know. It's just like, it's just the way it said, do not panic. And I just thought, oh my God, that is classic. Couldn't wait. I came out of the loo. I was like, just to let you know, be on your guard, because there is a possum hanging around.
It's like the Loch Ness monster, isn't it? But it's the Rotocairi possum. It's like, where will it be seen next?
How did it get in? Little shit. How did it get through those doors?
I don't know. It's probably just thinking, I've been watching these gates. So they open at set times and close at set times, and I think I can make it.
But then we were walking round, you know, I just kept imagining, you know, like your mind does over time, doesn't it? And I was just kept imagining this little possum just like watching us from the trees, like, you know.
It's all the pictures in the background, like
yeah.
This photobombing everyone.
And it actually reminded me of when, and I wanted to share that story with you. It reminded me of when, before me and Brian moved to New Zealand, Canada was on the cards. That's where we were going to move. When we were younger, we went and worked in Canada, in Whistler. We were there for a year running a ski chalet, and we just fell in love with the country and the Canadians. Just beautiful people, beautiful country. So it was always our place that we were going to emigrate to. And then when we were literally a year, maybe 8 months before we moved to New Zealand, or decided to move to New Zealand, we took the kids on a holiday over to Canada, because it's like, oh, this is where you're going to live, kids. You know, we're going to move here one day. And we went to Vancouver Island, didn't we?
Yeah. We wanted to get by the coast, but have the access to the mountains and everything like that.
Yeah.
And Vancouver Island was apparently going to be the place, but just didn't really cut the mustard, did it?
No, and one of the reasons it didn't cut the mustard was because, and this is just, you're probably just laughing. If you're Canadian, you're just going to shake your head and just go, I don't believe this. But we're big walkers. The kids have always been brought up to be walkers, and we're always going on big tramps and taking them everywhere. And so the first thing we did when we got to Vancouver Island was like, what walks can we go on? Anyway, we turn up at this walk, and I don't know why we didn't know this, why we hadn't done our research.
Yeah, and it was sort of May time, wasn't it? June.
Yeah.
So, you know, coming up to that time of year when things are out of hibernation.
And there was a big sign, going back to signs, there was a big sign, and it said, do not walk on this path unless you are carrying a bear bell, because bears are roaming, and it said all these horrible things that bears do.
Watch out for you. Keep your children close to you. Don't let children wander in front of you or behind you.
Oh, and cougars. Cougars.
Bear and cougar.
Yeah, this is bear and cougar country, and you will be eaten. Basically, it was, wasn't it, Bri?
Yeah, well, it's quite terrifying, isn't it? Because it's just
very
like
terrifying.
you're like shit. I'm thinking of not just the brown bears, but the grizzly bears and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah.
And you do see them. We saw a few black bears on the roads.
Yeah,
didn't
we
we?
did.
You know, and you're like slowing down, thinking, oh, what's this?
So we turned the car around. We got back in the car and we turned the car around. We went to the nearest gas station or whatever, or the little shop, and we bought a bear bell for each of us. How dramatic is that? Like, wear your bear bell. You know,
Like a bear knows what a bell is.
And literally, it was so annoying. You know, every step, ding-ling-ling, 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 ding-ling-ling. It was just like, oh, I can't stand that.
Paranoid tourists.
Yeah, I know, we were, weren't we?
Yeah.
But you're worried for the kids because you know what kids are like. They
just
run ahead.
Yeah. And you just I don't know, you just couldn't enjoy the beautiful woods that you're in and stuff, you know, the forest that you're in. It just, I don't know, it just didn't have that feel, did it? Like, you know, you just think, what's that noise? Or
do you think we were overreacting, Bri?
Probably, but then again, I don't know. Why would you bother putting the sign up if you're overreacting?
I know. So yeah, that was one of the reasons we just said, oh no, I can't be living in a country that I have to worry about my daughter being eaten by a bear when I'm going on a walk up the road. Yeah. You know, so we just ruled it out, didn't we? And sorry, Canada, we still love you and everything, but we're just scaredy cats and we can't walk.
Then one of the biggest reasons about Canada is you couldn't get Pam's vinegar there. Yeah, that's what
Pam's
it was.
finest.
You just could not see it there, like, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that. So do you think you would have felt differently about New Zealand if it had been a country where, you know, you have
like Australia?
Well, yeah, basically, where you have, I don't know, because what is there in Australia that can get you on the walks?
Yeah,
snakes?
Well,
Spiders?
Everything in Australia is out to kill you.
Oh, don't be dramatic.
Well,
no, it's not.
Of course it is. It's out to protect itself.
Right,
because that's what it's almost everything.
It's good how that hasn't come over to New Zealand.
Well, the possums came over, didn't they? But
yes,
you know,
exactly. Do not panic. Possum in woods.
Flying possums.
I don't know. Would it have made a difference if we'd have thought, because in England there's nothing that can get you, is there?
Well, there are snakes in England.
Yeah, but you don't walk on the path, do you? Thinking, oh my God, is a snake going to get me?
I did walk on a snake once in England. But yeah, I nearly squashed it. But I just carried on. Then thought, oh, that was a snake, because I could see it slithering back across the grass.
So answer my question. Do you think if someone had suddenly said, actually, there is something, you know, there's a big bear, or what I would say, like, well, you know, that. What's that thing called that they see in America? Bigfoot. Bigfoot lives in Taranaki. Yeah. He's actually, we have got a Bigfoot. I'm going to talk about that in a minute.
It's what was appealing to New Zealand was exactly that, which was just that predator-free feel, like, you know, to man anyway, like, you know, where you can just go and lay down on the grass.
I know.
Apart from a few sandflies. That's all that's going to give you a bit of a nip. Yeah, all right, there's the odd spider, but there's spiders everywhere that'll give you a nip, like, you know.
I wonder, Bri, if you, like, say, if you live in Australia, and I'm sure you'll be able to answer this because we've got lots of lovely people who live in Australia that watch this show. Do you go through, well, you know, like when you go for a walk, do you go through life being aware of what, are you scared like we were in Canada? Because I can never imagine losing that fear. I can never imagine thinking, oh, come on, never mind your bear bell, it'll be fine. Do you just get over that, or do you just...
Or do you check all your, you know, your bedding? Do you peel your bed back at night and all that sort of stuff? Like, you know, you used to hear about Australia. It's like, you know, you've got to check your washing, you've got to check your shoes before you put your feet in. You've got to check toilet. You check underneath the toilet seat. All that sort of stuff. Like, you know, I mean, do you do that? Or is it just get to a point where you just think, well, it's not as bad as what everyone's saying? Yeah.
I don't know. You let us know in the comments, lovely Australians. You can let us know about that.
Yes.
Right. Talking about typical New Zealand ways. This was so untypical. And this is just a little bit, we didn't know whether to share this with you, but we thought, no, okay, we're going to share it with you. So we get a comment. Mostly 99.99% of our comments on YouTube are just so lovely and so supportive. But the other day we got a comment and we just wanted to give you some advice, the person that gave us this comment, because we got this comment and it said, oh my God, how do I get these two out of my feed? They are dull as dishwater.
Nice.
I live in Taranaki and do you know what he said, Bri?
What?
I forgot to say this bit. He said, I live in Taranaki and there is nothing worse than poms
Poms.
trying to pronounce Taranaki. That's what he said.
All right.
And so, two things. Okay, I know you're not going to be watching because you think we're as dull as ditchwater, but just a little tip. If you don't like a channel and you don't like the content, don't leave a comment, because what happens, this is how YouTube works. When you interact, when you leave a comment or a like, or whether YouTube doesn't know if it's a horrible comment or a nice comment. All they see is that you have interacted with this channel.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry, friend, but you're going to be seeing more of us now because you went and
More
left that
dishwater coming your
comment.
way, pal.
So we just thought that
Going to
was
be
quite
soaking
funny.
wet soon.
So somewhere in this region is not only a possum that is waiting to jump on us, there is also someone who thinks we're as dull as
A Brian and Liz hater.
No, he doesn't hate us. He
Yeah,
doesn't. He
right.
just thinks no. But anyway, that was just, it just made me, at first I was like, oh, and then I thought, oh, silly man, why did he do that?
Yeah.
And do you know what as well? This is just why am I like this? I was actually going to try and look into how I could get us off his feed for him. I'm like, how can I help this guy?
Yeah.
You know?
Turn your phone off, mate.
Yeah, just press
Yeah.
move on or whatever it's called. I don't know what you can do on YouTube.
Yeah. Move to Australia and then we might disappear.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was that. We just thought we'd share it with you. It's not all bed of roses.
Dull as
Not every-
dishwater, eh? When was the last time someone called you as dull as
How can
dishwater?
they say that about us, Bri?
I don't know.
Hey?
Yeah. Hey, what do we talk about? Nothing.
Us, that's sitting
Dishwater.
here, full of vibrancy and energy.
Yeah. Just why didn't you just
Frolicking around the
help
country.
people out? Just put a bit of happiness in their life. But
Yeah.
hey, whatever.
Thing is, Bri, you've got to anyway, I'm not going to go into that, but I know that you do take these things personally.
I do. It makes my back ache.
Does it?
Yes.
Aw.
Yeah. There you go.
Anyway, so moving on, and thank you to the people. And I wanted to say as well, thank you so much to the people who are supporting me as I am about to publish my best first ever book that I'm writing. I'm just about to publish it in about 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe 2 years. And you are supporting me by joining my newsletter, my Front Row newsletter, in which I sent you a video of me reading, I won't say anymore, reading the introduction of my book
Yeah.
in a very odd place.
Small room in the
A
house.
small room in the house, yeah, let's say that. So if you have not signed up for my Front Row newsletter and you'd like to know more about this book that I've written about when me and Brian went round the world with the kids for a year from New Zealand, we backpacked the world on 100 New Zealand dollars a day for the 4 of us, and lots of funny stories came out of that trip. And yeah, I'm writing a book about it. So if you would like to be part of that journey, and I would love you to be, if you are not already signed up, then please go to
itsdrama.com/front row.
Yes.
All one word, front row.
Yeah.
itsdrama.com/front row.
Yeah. I promise not to be as dull as dishwater. I'll be really,
Yeah.
really good. I'll change.
Do you know what?
I'll change.
When your book is actually published, it'll be in a bookstore, and this guy will probably walk in and think,
Oh, yeah. There were,
"Geez,
yeah.
there's the dishwater woman."
It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, Bri, to know when I'm walking
Yeah, he
around.
probably works in Wick Coolies or something, doesn't he? Like, you know.
If you watch, he's going to be like really famous and really like, he could have helped us really good.
Yeah.
If we weren't so dull,
probably
then he
the
would have
mayor.
helped us. I know.
The mayor of New Plymouth in Taranaki. You can't say it properly.
Right, the last thing we wanted to share with you. How are we doing for time? Are we running
Yeah,
over?
we're running. We're
The
starting
last
over,
thing
yeah.
we wanted to share with you, gorgeous people, is we went for a party, an Easter party at my mum's house the other day.
Yep.
It was Easter Sunday, wasn't it?
It was the same day we went for the walk at Rotokerry, and it's always good to know that when you're going for a walk, that you're going for a roasties at your mum's.
Yeah.
A roasty.
Is there
Yeah.
anything better than that?
It's a great
When
feeling,
your
isn't it?
Mum is cooking you a roast dinner.
Yeah.
It's great, wasn't it?
Yeah, when you're
Brian?
going for a walk and you're like, you're 2 hours into your walk and thinking, oh, I'm feeling a bit hungry.
Yeah,
I'll be eating
yeah.
in an hour or so.
So good. Thank
It
you,
was
Mum.
good.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Thank you to all mums out there that do,
Yeah.
mums and dads that do these things. It was lovely. We had roast potatoes, roast lamb, carrots, sprouts. I love sprouts.
Yeah.
Gravy. The gravy was delicious, wasn't it,
It
Brian?
was. She said it was a
Flippin'
red
lovely.
wine jus.
Yeah, it was lovely. Anyway, so we went over, my mouth's watering now. We went over, I have to go in a minute because I need something to eat. We went over for this party and we got talking to their neighbours, 2 Kiwi ladies, and just the most gorgeous women. And we got talking about Easter eggs. And we said, I think I said to them, like, or my sister said, or one of us said, so where do you normally roll your Easter eggs? And her eyes sort of like went, what do you mean? Do you mean the Easter egg hunt? And we said, no, where do you roll the, you know, when you were a kid, which hill did you go to roll your Easter egg? She said, I don't know what you mean. So we discovered, right?
Yeah.
Kiwis, you don't roll your Easter eggs.
Apparently.
No.
Unless you do roll them somewhere that we don't know about. But
Well, no, she's Kiwi through and through. And she said, I have never heard of that tradition. So whether it's a British tradition or English, I don't know, because I've only lived in England. But when we were kids, you got your Easter egg and it symbolised the rolling of the stone away from Jesus's tomb, didn't it?
yeah.
And so, I mean, whether you were religious or not, you still did it. Everyone who got their Easter egg.
Shocky Easter egg,
It was a hollow Easter egg, and you went to a high place like a hill, or even some people did it at the top of their stairs if you couldn't be bothered to go outside, and you'd roll the Easter egg until it cracked, and then you would eat it. And she didn't know anything about that. She's like, I've never heard of that before. I was like, oh my God, how can you not know about that?
Because what's the name of that street in Dunedin? Can't remember it now.
Yeah, the really
steep one.
steep
Keep thinking
one,
of
isn't it?
McFarland, but it's not McFarland. Whatever it's called.
I can't remember, yeah.
We said it the other day, and it's like that would be the one where they do the Jaffas, isn't it? Like you know, put the chocolate Jaffas, and roll them down the hill.
That'd be brilliant.
That would never stop, would it? Unless it's smashed. Yeah.
So I'm surprised. Why do you not? Why? I wonder why that tradition has not come over. So. Anyway, if you are a Kiwi and you have heard of this and you're like, yes, we do. Well, I'm sure you will anyway. Yes, we will. Yes, we did do that. Let us know, because she, like I say, Kiwi through and through, been here all her life, family, 4th generation, all the rest of it. And it's like, we have never, ever done that. So,
It's unusual.
Brian.
That's that's the differences, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's you go. There's you go.
There's you go.
There's you go.
There she blows.
Right. So that's it.
Time to say goodbye.
Another week.
Another week's gone. It's autumn here in New Plymouth, and leaves are starting to go. Yeah, it's like
don't turn around with your back. Yeah.
It's great getting old, isn't it?
Oh no, you just need to rest it. I think it's all that walking.
Yeah, probably is.
All that vinegar just inflaming your joints.
It's good for your joints, actually.
So thank you so much for being with us. I say this every week, and I will never ever tire of saying this. If you knew how much we appreciate you, your comments, honestly, some of the comments we get are just like that. And it's just, I know how much, I know I say this and I'm sorry I'm repeating myself, but I want to drive this home to you. I know how much effort that takes. So when you've watched something or read something or listened to something to go, do you know what? I'm going to let them know that I enjoyed that. I'm going to let them know that I was here. You don't know how much that means to us. It keeps us going.
Yep.
It keeps us inspired. It makes it all brilliant.
We both read them. I'll read them separate to Liz, or we'll talk about, did you see that comment? What whoever said, and it's just like,
I did keep that comment about the dishwater from you, though, Bri.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
No, I did keep that from you because I didn't want to.
Snuck on under the radar.
Yeah, you do. You get a little bit, crying in your soup.
Probably got in with the possum as well.
Anyway, you stay safe. Keep being you. Thank you for being here with us and just joining us in New Zealand. And until next time, I will speak to you soon.
Yeah, so kia kaha, stay strong, and kia u, stay true. And that's true to yourself. And we'll see you next time.
Okay.
See you now.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone knows that New Zealand is not the cheapest of destinations. It's at the other side of the world, therefore flights are expensive, and then when you get here you've got to have accommodation. But what about the things that people slightly overlook? What about when you get here, how much is the grocery bill going to knock you back? They've made a mistake and they've overcharged me. And I just thought, do you know what? I never check our bill.
No.
Do you? In this week's show, we're going to share with you some life in New Zealand and tell you a few secrets that you may not know about living down under.